a lot of HTML within JavaScript. This is probably the easiest way. What you want to do is you want to put plus, and then go ahead and write all of your crap that you need to. So I'll go ahead and put like 3 or 4 movies. My very first favorite movie of all time is Arma Get It On. Oh, that's a good one. That's a freaking classic right there. What's another movie I like? Let's see. Position Impossible. Position Impossible. That is a great one. And let's see. Let me think of one more. Let's see. Jamaican Me Crazy. Jamaican Me Crazy. That's a great one too. All right, now let's just go ahead and end this unordered list. And wham bam, thank you ma'am. All right, so now we got our variable s, which is pretty much equal to an unordered list. Now what we need to do is pretty much take this variable and plop it down right where this div is, in between this div. So how do we do that? Well, the first thing we need to do is we need to reference this div. We pretty much say, okay, we want to work with this div. So how does this JavaScript file reference this div? Well, we do it by the ID. So that's why it's very important to have unique IDs in your HTML file, because if you just name it like ID1 and you have a huge web page, it's going to get very confusing. So go ahead, and another thing I like to do is whenever I'm working in my JavaScript file, I just name my variables equal to the same thing as whatever my div was named. So the variable is div movies, and of course, in order to reference anything in your web page, just write document. And if you don't know what the document is pretty much the body of your web page. So all the head stuff is like, for search engines, and the title too. This big white thing is the body of your web page. So that is pretty much what the document means, in JavaScript language. It's the body. So in the document, in the body, get element by ID. I think that function is pretty self-explanatory. And the ID is div movies. So basically this div movies variable is equal to this element right here. So now we can go ahead and edit it in JavaScript. Well, what do we want to do? Well, we just want to take that element and set the inner HTML, which is basically, what's going in here, right? It's pretty self-explanatory. Inner HTML, set it equal to that list that we just created, and that list was named S. So now if we go ahead and save this and run this baby, check it out. Here are my favorite movies: Armageddon, Position Impossible, and Jamaican Me Crazy. Alright, pretty freaking sweet. So one last time, just the key things I want to go over. I want to kind of pound this in your head. What you want to do whenever you're working with AJAX, and I know, this wasn't a true AJAX application, but this is basically important for setting up any web page using AJAX. You want to make all of the static content that isn't going to change, and then put all of the dynamic content in preferably divs. And we'll work with something else aside from divs, but for these upcoming tutorials, we're going to be working, mostly with divs. They're the easiest. And make sure they're just empty and give them a unique ID. And again, what you want to do is you want to call a function on load. And the reason that you don't put it in the head is because whenever it's referencing divs in the head, it didn't even know they exist yet. So once the entire web page loads, then it can go ahead and call this function. And these functions now have knowledge of this HTML file and all the divs inside. And then you can create awesome applications like this favorite movie list. But for now, thank you guys for watching, and in the next tutorial, I'm going to be teaching you guys, well, it's going to be awesome. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.